Hi, this is the Social Media Talks in Conversation with me, Alan Hennessy.
And me, Trevor Hawkins.
Yes. So what today we're going to be talking about is images, graphics, and visual design. So stay tuned. Hi guys, thanks for joining us today. And really today what we're going to be talking about is graphics, and we're also going to be talking about images and visual design. And there's no better person than the person sitting right here beside me, because Trevor knows everything there is to know about graphics and about visual design. They don't call him the digital alchemist for nothing. Am I right? The digital alchemist is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about graphics. And I suppose where we should really start off with is that, I was doing a presentation a couple of months ago, and I just sent it over to you just to have a quick look over it and see what you thought.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't stop laughing anyway.
Well, look, look at the end of the day. I'm good. No, I am. No, and I have to admit, I've learned so much from you with regards to graphic design and with doing visuals as well. This is really like blowing smoke, isn't it, guys? It's really it. But what it is as I said, we sent it over to you, and when I sent it over, you says, "Oh yeah, it's good," and whatever. But about a day later, I got this, I suppose it was even less than a day, I got this presentation back that had been tweaked, for want of a better word.
Alchemized is the word.
Alchemized. Oh, I love it. Alchemized. And basically, it just lifted the whole presentation. I got a great response. People were talking about it afterward as well. So it showed me the power that you can have from having good visuals and having good content. Content's the word. Well, I suppose it is content in a sense, but it's the right images and the right messages putting across. So, Trevor, you might explain that to us in a bit more detail.
Yeah, I think it started off that you use the tools you've got, and you probably found that you've got word art and clip art. It's gone back donkey's years in graphics when it started off, didn't it? And you get trapped in that world because you don't know what you don't know. And getting the images transformed it, but it's getting that right image. And I don't know, it's having an eye for the detail. Finding that right image that portrays the message on that particular slide on a particular page, and being brave enough with it. It doesn't need to be a big, bold image. Doesn't need to be a detailed image. And it's really getting under the skin of what is that presentation all about. Not just, I need a picture of X, I need a picture of Y. It's getting that thread of the image all the way through. And people say, well, how do you find the right images?
Yeah.
And there is a bit of a knack, and you get your eye, and I think you've seen over the years, you start to get your eye in of getting to know what is the right image or the image you need to look for. But you got to put the work in. It's no good going, oh, I'm using PowerPoint and I've got my clip art that comes in Microsoft or whatever you're using.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, that picture will do, because you've got a choice of like little GIFs and stuff. It's putting that effort in to think more about your pictures and the overall feel of the presentation. And it also goes into the colours and typography and that all part and parcel. But I think today we'll stick to talking images, otherwise we could be here a very long time.
We could be, we could be here for days talking about this.
And people say, oh, okay, great. Where do I get all these images from? Well, if I'm going to go beyond what's on my screen, where can I go? And it's changed over the years, but nowadays, you know what? Most people have one of these, don't they? Smartphone. The quality of all these nowadays is phenomenal. When you think what's in this tiny little camera compared to what you used to have years ago, it's good enough.
Yeah,
that's good enough for most of the things you're going to need that you come across. So if you can take your own pictures, do.
Yeah.
And all right, yes, if you want that best image and you're going to put a poster on the back of a bus, you may need a professional photographer. But if you're putting graphics on your PowerPoint presentations and your blog on your website, a lot of the time the quality of your phone is going to be good enough. If you're on a budget and you're not going to spend lots on professional photography.
And I think as well as that, when you do something like that, when you actually do, take your own images, it becomes a lot more personal because people, you're showing your character as much as anything as well. But you're also, it's your content. It's you.
Yeah,
as
and
thing.
it is your content. You own it. You've taken it. You can do what you want with it. There's no issues. There's no legalities of copyrights and paying other people over. It's yours. And I think once you get into that, when you get an eye for it, you're out and about, and you're taking pictures all over the place. Oh, I do need, I might be use that picture later from something else. You're not thinking, right, today I need a picture of X. So you build your library of pictures over time. And that's part and parcel of thinking. We talked earlier about a strategy of what you're planning with your content over time. You can take pictures all day, every day, and capture them, grab them, and have in mind, well, that picture that'll be good on my website, that'll be good on my blog post I'm going to write. We've all got blog posts we all want to write, haven't we, on our to-do list.
Yeah.
We never get around to writing.
Hundreds of them, as they say.
But sometimes you'll be out there thinking, that's the ideal picture I need for that blog post. Take it, grab that picture. It's not like the old days where you had film in your camera and every picture cost you money and you had to go down to the chemist and take the film away.
Very true.
It's all digital. And it's kind of, you can fill up your camera card, no trouble at all. So a great starting point, take your own pictures. But yes, sometimes you can't get the right environment, you can't get the right shot. Where do you get the pictures from? And I had a very good conversation the other day with somebody that said, I just use Google Images all the time. Brilliant, you go on Google and there's millions of pictures all over Google, all there. Great, endless pictures of everything. And there is, you go into images.google.com.ie, whatever you want. There are millions of pictures of everything. It's an image search engine, basically. And I said, really? You want to use Google Images? I said, it's fraught with problems. Technical problems is the image quality actually any good? Is it the right number of pixels? Is it the right resolution? Is it the right shape and size? That's your starting point. They're all random. And you have to come back to thinking, where's Google find them all? Has Google got photographers wandering around totally? No. Google gets them from people's websites. Your website, my website, your website. Google is trawling the internet. That's how Google finds out what it does for search. And as it's wandering around websites trying to do its search algorithms and checking and indexing, it's also picking up all your images. Because it's clever, it knows what an image is. So it's indexing all the images. So all the images on all the websites, unless you've done something cleverly website to stop Google finding them, which you can do, but most people don't, they all end up in Google Images. So the likelihood is majority of those images will all be the copyright to somebody, the website owner, photographer, whatever.
It's very simple. It's very similar. Like when we're talking about there it's like if I go out and take a nice picture of the front garden, and I decide that I'm going to put it out and I'm going to put it on a blog post, right? It goes in the blog post, it goes up the website, it goes wherever it is, right? Then Google pick it up, and they take the image. It goes into the image library on Google. Image library. Then you come along and you say, "Oh, that's a nice picture of the sunset. I'll take that." I'm going to say, "Hold on, that's my image."
If you know about it,
that's my image.
Precisely.
So like already, it's
it's
and
not
I
great.
suppose,
I always say to people, well, how do you like it if people copy your images?
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Because at the end of the day, and without getting all technical and logistical or legal, you're actually robbing. It's fraud. It's fraud. Like, so you're actually robbing someone else, unless you have the rights. Unless, Trevor, you ring me and say to me, Alan, I love the image you took of the front garden. Can I use it? And I say, yes, of course you can. Or no, I want to keep it.
I mean, over the years, I've actually had a couple of people actually contact me on a website and a specific image on. They said, I really like to use that image in my blog. Can I use it? And I said, yeah, no problem at all. I was never going to get rich and sell it to them for millions of pounds. So it didn't matter.
And
the information, so I let them use it.
And I suppose the other side of that then is once you credit that person as taking the image, you know what I mean? But I would say get their permission first. Before you even go down that road type of thing. Putting it up on your laptop.
I might use Google Images for some inspiration or get some ideas of
style. I have to admit, that's what I would do.
A feel for that, or a trend or something. But wouldn't tend to use images like Google Images.
If I'm using, like, say for instance, we were asked to create a flyer, and what I would do is I'd say, okay, right, they'd give me the criteria of what the flyer would be, and then I would go to Google and I type in loosely based what that flyer is about, and I'd see what other people are doing, and I'd say, all right, well, that's good, sort
of style.
And like that, you get a bit of inspiration. But I don't go and say, right, I'm going to type all that copy of the thing. I put my own flair to it, because at the end of the day, if they're coming to me, and they're looking for that image, they're looking for some sort of imagery.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be your work.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
You know.
Yeah.
So I suppose the other question is there is obviously free image libraries and stuff like that out there for finding images.
I mean, I think the times that people do use Google Images, you can actually start to see on there some image libraries appearing on Google Images, and they'll have watermarks all over them. But that's where the image libraries will end up. And so you probably inadvertently may have stumbled across some image libraries just by searching on Google.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are image libraries on the internet. There's, I'd say, maybe hundreds. I don't know. I haven't gone that far, but there is certainly plenty of choice online. And there's nowadays, it wasn't like when I first started on the internet, everything you had to pay for. Nowadays, there are many image libraries which are free images. You don't have to pay for them.
Yeah.
And there's certain licenses available on these websites. They explain them. You can do anything you like with that image whatsoever. You don't have to credit the original. They like you to credit people if you can, and that's fair enough, but you don't have to credit them, and you can do whatever you want with the image free to use. And it's great. There was some great choice out there, you know.
But there's for instance, there is last week we were doing a particular graphic for a particular customer of ours, and like that I rang you because I knew this was probably going to go as point of sales. Right. So it was actually going to go in shops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So obviously I needed to be aware that when I actually bought the image, that the license agreement on it was not going to come back to hit me in the face and say, well, hold on, you use this image, you shouldn't use it. Like that, I was a bit unsure because there's the standard license and there's an extended license and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we might talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, these free websites are great, and you know, any reputable image website library will have details about its licenses. It's all maybe a bit wordy, a bit small print, but some of the free ones are very good at saying these images are free, and they make it very simple. Do what you like with them. If you want to read the techie legal stuff, click here and read all the complicated wording. But yeah, the other image libraries, which are typically they'd come across as royalty free, is what they're called to start with, and the next level up. And royalty free basically means you don't have to pay royalties. It doesn't mean they're free. Yeah. So when you say a standard license, we were talking about, is you're paying to be able to use the image, but you're not going to pay royalties on it. You know, if you wind back to pre-internet, images, photographers, typically, you know, public newspapers, magazines, in that arena, if a photographer took a picture that was going into a very prestigious, say, I don't know, Sunday supplement magazine with readership of 5 million, they would get paid more money for that than if that image went into a local village magazine got readership of 5,000. Yeah. So with all these complicating pricing structures, when you know what's the print run, what's the distribution, is it local, global, country, and all the image libraries had very complicated pricing structures, but you would then pay royalties on it. So how big is the print run? You'd have to pay for the size of the print run. But these ones are, say, royalty free. So yeah, you would pay for the image. And I think the image you got, they have a sort of credit system, and the more images you might use, you buy more credits. But typically images, I mean, they're not crazy. I mean, I've bought images sort of £5, £10, £20.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that actually will cost, I think it was 10 or 20.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, it's something like that. So they're not scary numbers, but obviously you don't want to do it day in, day out, because it can add up unless you're going to sell them for huge amounts of money. But you know, it is that next level up. And I think the libraries that you pay for have larger libraries, maybe perhaps more professional pictures, because the photographers are getting paid for them. That's how it works, you know. And the standard license, is like, you can use that to create the graphics for your client. That can go into the websites, the blogs, publications that you know, online blogs and articles, and point of sale. What you couldn't do with that license is, say, do printed mugs or printed T-shirts and sell the T-shirts.
So that would be
the extended license.
The extended license.
You know, so say, I mean, I used to have a client who used to do jigsaws, and they wanted to use a picture on jigsaw puzzles because they were selling the jigsaws. For that instance, because you're making money out of that ongoing selling jigsaw, you have to have an extended license. Yeah. But I always say to people, you know, just read the licenses on those websites. They're generically kind of all saying the same thing, but some will have variations. But it can be a bit of a minefield. It can be a bit of a minefield. But I think if you're using it in your own work in your blogs, websites, for your social media graphics. The free websites are great. And if you want to go for a standard license on the other ones, you're going to be pretty well covered for all those applications.
And then we were talking, and you didn't mention, you touched on it earlier on, is about being brave. And I love this. We had Trevor doing a presentation with us at one of our social media talks evenings, and he came in and he talked about being brave, and it was very insightful. And I think the idea of being brave, the concept, the whole idea around that is that, people can use standard images of whether it be, say, don't get all tied up with social media or something, and they will just use, a picture of a computer or something like that, or whatever. And instead of saying something like using an actual knot in a piece of string or something, and putting it. And I think that's the being brave. So you might talk a little bit about that.
It's the thing, is, if you want to stand out, you need to use outstanding images. But they use this brave thing. Oh, I can't that image is a bit out there. Everybody else just puts pictures of laptops,
left of center as well.
Put the laptops and the Twitter logo on them, and that's what everybody else does. So I'll do the same.
Yeah.
But if you do the same, you're just going to get lost in the noise, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you've got to have those attention-grabbing images. It's like your phone. You're on this here. You're on your feed. And you're going scroll. There's so much noise on this. Something's got to stop that.
Makes it stand out. Yeah.
And that's the knack with all these image libraries. Because people say, what's the best image library? Which image library should I use? There's no best one. It's having that eye for looking for those images which are going to sell the message you're trying to get across, but it's going to stop people flicking through. And the best one recently, we had a course of somebody who was doing diet plans. Kind of online diet plan systems to help with your food buying and what you need to buy and what recipes and that kind of world. And you've seen the images, haven't you? People doing diet work, they'll have pictures of an apple with a tape measure around it, or a fruit smoothie and a raspberry. They're all a bit samey.
Bunch of fruit.
We've all seen the healthy eating images, and we were talking about being brave, and you've got to be different if you want to be the one that's standing out. And it's just gone at a coffee break, wasn't it? And she says to us, "I bet you can't find me an image." And I said, "Well, you go and grab a coffee, and we'll have the image when you get back." And I knew the image. I'd seen
already
it. I'd seen it. I just need to find the website, found it on it. And we got the image back, and there's a picture of a girl, and 10 fingers like that, and the mini donut on each finger, and she's about to eat one. And we showed her the image and said, "Need help? Call me." And that was the graphic. Yeah. And it stood out. It didn't say, "Do you need a diet plan to sign up for my 6-week plan that will let you lose 3 pounds in 2 days?" And people know all that. They just don't do it because it's this sort of odd thing about diets, isn't it? But that was a thumb scrolling, stopping moment. What's that? And it's different. And that's the knack with all these images. It's having that knack of finding those right images. Because let's face it, we know there are so many images on these websites. You can spend many happy hours when you're meant to be working, scrolling through images, trying to find stuff. And it's I don't know, does it take practice? Does it take skill? Does it have that eye? I find it really easy, but that's kind of what I do. And I know other people do find it a struggle. I don't know if there's an easy answer to say how you do it.
I think if you think about what it is that you're actually doing with regards to the content, what is the message you're trying to get across? What is it that actually... So, for instance, I done a graphic a couple of months back. It was get smart with your social media, right? Yeah. And instead of like that using the Twitter logos and all that, I actually found this fantastic image of just a pair of brown shoes, and they were all shined up, and they were on a wooden floor.
Yeah.
It gave me the space on that wooden floor to type in what the wording that I needed to put in. Yeah. But I just put "smarten up your social media." Yeah. And I just put our logo on the end of it, and the shoes, and I stood it, and I just put it up in social, and I got a huge response to it. Like, people were liking it and sharing and stuff like that. Same, there was a camera on it, another one with a camera, and it says "focus on your social media."
Yeah.
they're all like, you know,
just a little bit bigger.
But the idea behind it is that I use the play on words.
Yeah.
And then I also used an image that was different, that people do comment when you're out and about and they say, "Oh, I've seen your graphics the other day. Jesus, you really put out some."
Yeah.
But that has come from, I suppose, in the sense from talking with you and you know, working with you over the last number of years.
Yeah.
That I now see that.
Yeah.
But I think what we're trying to say is as much as anything is to people is to, you know, think about it. Think about the bigger picture.
Yeah, put a bit of effort in.
You know, if you think about the bigger picture and you understand that, I think that adds value to what you're doing. But it also, and the other side of that is if you're making them generic, you can use them in a variety of different posts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. The other thing I think was interesting you said there about there was space to put the text. You know, when we're putting images out, pretty well 99 times 100 you want to put some text on top. You know, very seldom you just put, you know, if you're going to photograph a nice sunset at your bedroom window, fine, that's a different animal. But when you put these sort of marketing posts out, you're going to want to put text on. And that's the other challenge you've got as well, is there space somewhere that's a sort of fairly plain background you can put text on? The problem is if you've got a very multicolored image and you want to put text on top, what color are you going to pick? You know, it's very difficult to then get the color of the text to show up on the picture because, you know, so having that copy space, as we call it, is very good. And I think that's the difference of some of the image websites, more the paid ones are conscious of that. And actually some of the searching tools they've got on there are more advanced. So you can search for, I need copy space, I want this color image, or not so much a color, but if, I don't know, say you want a pastely pink styled image, you can say, I want pink, I don't want bright green. And it will try to search for the style and colours.
It'll filter it down, it filters it down.
Rather than you wading through thousands of pictures trying to find one. So there are better tools on the paid ones. But the copy space is kind of critical. I know the image we had last week was a real struggle, that you'd found a great image that said what said the message of marketing. You know, your client had given you the message they wanted to put out, and the picture was spot on. It was just struggling for copy space. But being an alchemist in the digital world, a bit of Photoshop work, we managed to
be able to
amend that slightly and edit it. And it was a little bit of a trick of the trade, but that's what we did to extend the copy space. And this is the thing: once you've got your image, you're going to need some graphic software applications to do something with it. Is it the right shape and size? Does it need a bit more space? And there's online tools, you know, to add your text. Maybe add a few pictures and use stars or shapes on top as well. And I know two really popular ones. Everybody talks about Canva, very, very popular. And the other one, which I know you prefer, is Adobe Spark. Probably similar in operation.
They are.
In what they do.
Like the Canva is great, and a lot of people know it because that's sort of, you know, it's the go-to tool. It's the go-to free tool to use. You know what I mean? But I stumbled across, well, I suppose, I did. I stumbled across Adobe Spark. I think it was last year, and I says, "Oh, what's this?" And I'm a big, you know, I like Photoshop. I like all the Adobe products. I think their suite is fantastic. And I went, "Oh, well, what's this?" And I have a look at it, and I actually thought it was a paid site, but it's actually a free site. It's spark.adobe.com, I think, is the actual URL for it. But it's a really easy tool to use. You pick the size you want. You have a load of different fonts that you can use. You can add a background. You can, and the beauty as well with Adobe is because it's an Adobe product. They have a load of Adobe free images. So you can search within Spark for it. Whereas you can't do that. Well, you can do it on Canva, but a lot of the image you have to pay for it. Whereas on Adobe, you don't have to pay for it. We're not affiliated at all to Adobe, but I just found that it was a very good one. But then, of course, if you are like, they're sort of a quick fix and they're good for starting out. And we would say to you, you know, that's the one maybe to have a look at.
Have a play with it, try it out.
Either one, Canva or Adobe. But if you're going to start investing in this and you want to learn more, you've got a bit more advanced, it would be to go to people like Trevor and talk to them and get them professionally done. or if you're going to go down that road of doing them professionally, is to invest in some of the paid software out there. That's out
yeah.
there,
I mean, it's
But I think starting off,
they're great to play with. They do have their downsides, and to be honest, they're a bit of a bane in my life.
Yeah.
And the situation last week, you've done the graphics for the social media campaign, and I helped you with a bit of Photoshop to get the image right. But then you said, well, the client now wants this printed on posters.
Yes, exactly.
Help.
Yeah, exactly.
How do I size it for poster? How do I get the dots per inch and all that technical stuff right? And does it need bleed and what colour? And I get people. I had one a few weeks ago. They'd used Canva to design an A5 poster. They want me to print. However, they hadn't designed it A5.
Yeah.
They'd just gone into Canva and picked any random size and designed this poster that wasn't A5. It had colours to the edge with no bleed. The resolution was wrong. The colours were RGB, not seeing right. I could go on.
Yeah.
And I said to them, well, they said, I've got a print ready PDF. I've got the PDF done, all finished. Can you print it? And I said, well, send it through to me. And I quoted them to print it. And they sent the PDF through. And it's like, well, it's not A5.
Yeah.
I can't print it A5 if it's not A5. You've got no bleed, which is where the ink runs over the edge. You get it in off later. Probably get a little bit technical, but technically there was an issue. I couldn't do that. And most automatic online printers would just reject it straight off. And I said the colours will change slightly because you've designed it for screen, not print. And there's two different systems of colour. On it went. And she said, well, I spent days doing that. I said, well, if you'd have come to me, I could have designed that in half an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
But she'd spent days swearing at Canva, trying to get things lined up, and it didn't line up, trying to get it. And it was a complete mess. And I had to start again.
Yeah, and
so
I think
it cost her, in terms of time, it cost her all her time to do something that was
double the
good.
time, yeah.
And then had to pay me to do it again from scratch because,
Yeah. And I think that is, I think that is the thing where, if you are doing anything that's, okay, doing a quick graphic, well and good, that is great. You can do them on these free sites. But if you are looking for something to be done professionally, I'd be talking not just to Trevor, but to any good graphic designer or a professional that knows the way around, that will be able to turn around and say, yeah, here's your print, here's your social, here's your shared content. This is what you want. They will send you a pack. They will send you all the details of it. That's I suppose what we're saying here. Yeah. But starting out, have a look at them things. But we're not really talking here about the tools to use. We're talking more about the whole idea of visual concepts and graphics and images as well. And it's having that extra, just take that extra few minutes to stop and to look and to sort of say, right, okay, what is it that I'm trying to achieve here? It goes back to that, being creative.
It gets back to the empathy again, doesn't it? Yeah. Are the pictures you're going to pick, are they empathetic with the audience? That's the starting point. And so many, get back to the empathy with your customers and find what fits. And the other big one I always say to people all the time is be consistent.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And once you get a feel for the style of images you like, I have my kind of favourite image libraries for certain things. And depending on what client I'm working with, what their kind of market is, I'll know which image library is going to be best to start with as my starting point for that client. Because I know the style of images that will appear. And, the different libraries do have sort of styles, and that's it. When you look at a lot of the graphics I put out, if I didn't have my logo on it and it wasn't one of my posts, you'd probably have a feel for that's one of Trevor's images.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know when you put an image out, I can tell what clients you've got because I know you've done the graphics.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew you had a new contract with certain clients. Thought that's one of Alan's graphics, just by the style of the pictures, the layout, the type of face you put out. It didn't have your Compass Media logo on it because you're working for a client. I could tell you just got a new client or you just done some graphics for a client because it's your style. And that's the consistency that you sort of need to get in, in your head. And I think the more you do it and practice you do get that kind of feel of what puts out. And even if over time, I have changed over time, you tend to sort of move away slightly and go down a slightly different road because you find you've tried a different picture that's a bit off what you normally do, work better. Go down that road, but don't just randomly pick different fonts and different colours and different random pictures just to put stuff out.
I think that is, as you say, stick with your font or stick with the thing, and don't have the other thing that annoys me so much is when people actually, you do see graphics out, and there's 4 or 5 different fonts on the one image.
Yeah.
Stick to the right.
Yeah.
Stick to a particular font.
Yeah. Yeah. Top maximum of 3.
Yeah.
Maximum of 3. No more than 3. I mean, even 3 is probably sometimes a bit too much. You know. But I think the thing is, you know, these tools encourage you to, because there's 300 fonts you can pick from. So they're like, I'll try that. I'll try this. I'll try that. Just because they thought it fancy. And sometimes the other one that annoys me is they pick fonts you can't read.
Yeah.
They're so flowery and fancy. And all right, if you've got a big widescreen 27-inch screen on your desktop, you can read it. When you pick your phone up, blurry eyes first thing in the morning. I don't know what your eyes like first thing in the morning, but the older I get, the worse they get. And you pick your phone up and you read it, and you look at the graphic, and think, what's that say? I can't read it.
Yeah.
You know, so you just scroll by it. Because you've been trying to be too clever with it. You know, some of these sort of chalkboard, scratchy, curly, you're reading it and think,
start with mobile and look back, I suppose.
Yeah, so, you know, it has got to work on mobile and big if you're doing for digital. But equally, the same thing applies to print. It's got to work on a business card. It's got to work on a 2-meter high banner.
Yeah, exactly.
And these are other issues we could talk about if we went on and on and on about all the issues of scaling to big banners.
I think
from business cards.
That's a whole.
That's another whole.
That's another conversation. I think as well.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. Now you have a bit. Hopefully, that given you a bit more insight into images and graphics and visual design. Thanks, Trevor, for sharing that with us. Yeah.
Fantastic. Plenty to think about. I haven't confused you too much.
Loads to think about. And there'll be more of these type of conversation talks where we will be going through different topics, and hopefully you'll come back to them. Come back soon for our next installment. Okay, so listen, have a great day, and as I always say, be social. What about you always say?
Be social.
Be social. Okay, so have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.